Here are some hidden details you probably didn't notice while watching Turning Red. You saw tons of Disney Pixar cartoons as a kid, but never realized that these feature films were littered with signs. Among the most famous is the mysterious code A113. This code refers to the number of the classroom of the CalArts University of the Arts, created by Walt Disney, where several great animators studied. This famous code can be found in almost all Pixar films and more widely in many American productions, in Finding Nemo, in Ratatouille, in Brave, and many other Disney Pixar films. Turning Red is no exception, as the film also hides several A113s. Do you want to know where exactly? Fine, then watch this sequence carefully. Can you spot it? Okay, let's put the sequence back in slow motion. Yes, right there! Well done, you found it. A113 is hidden twice in the film. First, as an inscription on the chalk spiller used in the finale at Toronto's Sky Dome, and the second time on a fourth town ticket in the end credits. Admit it, you had a hard time spotting it, and you wouldn't have if we hadn't put the scene in slow motion. Well, that's just the beginning. I'm sure you'll find the next Easter egg without any problem, since you are now aware of what kind of hidden details we are looking for. You're a big foodie, and usually pizza trucks and boxes never go unnoticed by you. You may pay attention to pizza delivery people on the street, but in Turning Red you didn't see a thing. Do you want to know what we're talking about? Then watch the following sequence in detail. Doesn't that pizza truck parked on the side of the road look familiar? That's right, it's the Pizza Planet delivery truck. It's an Easter egg from the movie Toy Story, which can be found very often in almost all Pixar movies. By the way, even the second detail related to Planet Pizza escaped you. In this birthday scene, you can make out boxes crossed out with the logo of the Toy Story restaurant chain, as well as an advertisement in the finale at the Toronto Sky Dome. You've been fooled again on this one, and yet, when it comes to pizza, you can smell it coming from a mile away. Don't make that decomposed face. The next one will be yours. Just open your eyes wide. You've guessed, or at least tried, to guess the Easter eggs in the Turning Red animated movie since earlier, but there is one that is extremely subtle to notice. Not that it's well hidden in a pile of toys or marked on a book, this hidden detail has a very honorable value. I bet you're curious about what it is, so focus on what I'm about to tell you. The detail I'm talking about is actually a nod to the Type 1 and Type 2 diabetes communities. Why? Because Susan Fung, Turning Red's technical supervisor, was diagnosed with Type 1 diabetes at the age of 4. She has also worked in the past in Nemo, Arlo's Journey, and most recently in Coco. But it is in Turning Red that Susan Fung found herself. She sees herself in the main character, who feels like an intruder among the other normal children. And to talk more explicitly about this disease, Susan Fung suggested that an insulin pump be included in Turning Red. Contrary to what some people say about this device played on young Stacy's arm, it's a catheter, not a blood sugar sensor. It's after May turns into a red panda at school for the first time and runs into the bathroom that you can see little Stacy Frick coming out of the stall and wearing this catheter in her arm. Unlike the others, this hidden detail makes you a little sad, doesn't it? Well, you're not the only one. Now you know that Pixar cartoons can carry strong messages. That birthday scene in Turning Red, you've seen it over and over again. So much so that you haven't paid attention to one glaring detail. And since you still don't know what I'm talking about and would like to know, I'm going to ask you to stop and zoom in on this image. You're going to tell me that it's a balloon. Yes, it's a balloon floating in the pool. But it's not just any balloon. It is the Pixar balloon. Indeed, the inevitable yellow, blue, and red balloon is visible in this scene of the birthday, floating on the water while May and her friends are lounging on the roof. Moreover, we find it in other Pixar cartoons like in Toy Story when Buzz lands on the balloon, in Monsters, Inc. when it appears in Boo's room, or in Babysitting when little Jack is playing. I know you're disappointed not to have noticed it, and yet it was quite obvious. You just had to zoom in or linger on the image. Well, don't worry about it. Just tell yourself that you did your best. If you have seen the movie Turning Red, you must have seen the scene where Maylene passes by these two statues at the entrance of the temple held by her parents, and she greets them. Did you notice anything? This time, don't open your eyes, but your ears, because the detail is not visual. You still haven't noticed? And yet, it is obvious to the eyes. Well, to the ears. May called the statues Barth and Lisa, which are not very common names. Don't they remind you of Homer and Marge's children in the Simpsons series? I knew they would go unnoticed and that you would have a hard time noticing this detail, especially since the statues don't look anything like Barth and Lisa characters. It's true that this one was a bit harsh, especially since we rarely pay attention to what the characters say, but now you know that the hidden details in Pixar movies are not always found in the pictures. Are you a die-hard Pixar cartoon fan? If so, you'd probably like to answer this little riddle to find out what detail was hidden in Turning Red. But this time, we're not going to start by showing you the picture or the sequence. We're going to ask you a question first, and if you're really a big fan of Pixar cartoons as you claim, you'll answer it without any problem. So, listen up. When a Pixar movie starts, before the story even begins, what do you see on your screen? Yes, it's the name Pixar. And how does the logo appear? That's right, it's a funny little animation which shows a lamp trotting in to chase the Pixar eye and take its place. Perfect. I'll give you a few seconds now to take a good look at this image. Well done, you noticed it! The famous Pixar lamp, which has become the studio's logo, has been invited into Maylene's room in the reflection of the mirror as the young woman tries to channel her pandering emotions. This same lamp also appears in other animated films, such as here in Toy Story or in Wall-E. Bravo! You succeeded in guessing on this one, even if it was not so simple since you had to do some work on your memory. Now that you've finally warmed up your brain, I bet you'll be able to guess the others without any trouble. You have certainly seen the movie King Kong, and you know the famous scene where the huge gorilla holds in its hand the whole body of Ann Darrow's character. No, we didn't make a mistake. We are still on the same video and still dealing with Turning Red. You probably want to know the link between the two feature films. Then take a good look at this scene. Doesn't it strangely remind you of the moment when May's mom, in the form of a giant beast, grabs her daughter and holds her in her hand in exactly the same way as King Kong did? Despite appearances, it's a very nice nod to Peter Jackson's 2005 masterpiece. But if you haven't seen the movie, I'm afraid that once again, you didn't pay attention to this hidden detail and you lost another point. So, what are you waiting for to go and see it? It is also a very good movie to see with your family. When you see it, you will automatically make the link with this scene from Turning Red. You may have noticed that the word bow was often used in Turning Red. Have you ever wondered why? It's certainly not because of its originality, nor because of a lack of inspiration in the choice of names. It is not a coincidence either. I'm going to satisfy your curiosity, but to do so, you'll have to make a little effort to remember. You probably remember this extremely touching and endearing short film released in 2018, named Bow, where a mother suffers from the absence of her son and only finds a smile after one of his bows that she prepares with love comes to life. Well, this movie was directed by the same person who directed Turning Red, Do-Mi Shi. In the cartoon, there are several signs related to Bow, such as the name of the restaurant in the streets of Toronto, or this wall decoration found in homes, or even more subtle, the steamed buns that are present in both films. Not to mention that the character who eats the buns looks strangely like May's mother. I can hear your stomach rumbling. Did this case make you a little hungry? Wait a little, the video is not finished yet. After that, you can go and taste bows in homage to Do-Mi Shi while watching again this beautiful short film. You're the kind of person who watches manga as much as Pixar movies. Well, that's good because we have another Easter egg to show you, don't you? Remember in Crossing Time? This Japanese animation movie released in 2006? Makoto's character does a kind of jump in the air. Take a good look at this position, and then look at Mei's position on this picture. Do you see that it is the same posture? It's amazing. It's true that this one was a bit hard to guess since few would make the connection between Turning Red and an old manga. But you did pretty well on this one. You are officially recognized as a true manga fan. I bow to you. In Turning Red, you liked Mei so much and were so touched by this character with an atypical character that you found yourself liking the music group The Four Town just like her. Did you know that this same band appeared in another Pixar cartoon? Check out Luca, a film released in 2021. There is a record of the Four Villaggio, Italian translation of the boys' band name. It seems that at Pixar, the four villagers are very famous to the point that they cross the Atlantic. Don't be a bad player. I understand that you're disappointed to have missed this one, but it will teach you to declare defeat when you are defeated. You've seen the cartoon Coco hundreds of times and found it sensational. So well done. But even if you've seen it several times and you're a fan, you probably missed a little nod to this cartoon while you were watching Turning Red. Any idea? Be careful, it's very subtle. You need to have a good eye. No? Still nothing? Didn't you notice anything? Ah, well, you found it. It's in that famous scene where Mei's character arrives at school and falls in love with a handsome boy she meets in the hallway. As the boy nonchalantly curls his hair in slow motion, we notice that he is wearing a t-shirt with the name Escapula on it. Yes, exactly. This is the famous skeletal rock band that plays on stage during the music and singing competition in the land of the dead. A nice little nod to the movie Coco. But you still took a while to find the hidden detail. Don't worry, it's not easy for anyone. I'm sure that when you see this scene again, you'll want to watch Coco for the umpteenth time. Now tell us in the comments if you had already noticed any of these hidden details before watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe and click here to watch another of our videos.